Yeah, it's the club. I'd love to be fucking happy, but I'm not. I'm literally dragging my ass through trying to do a show tonight because that's just poxy, right? Normally I would be reveling in our inability to win fucking games and to things, but this is just really pissing me off. Tonight I've got Andy, I've got Ray, I've got Shane. I hope they talk loads because I've got nothing to say. That's a lot of bollocks.
Turn that on.
Andy.
What?
Say something.
Talk to me.
Say fucking something because I'm literally livid.
I thought you'd be happy. You predicted this.
Just because I predicted it doesn't mean I'm happy about it, right? It doesn't mean I enjoy it.
I think everyone needs to just relax. Like, we're in a wobble, and that's it. We're like,
There we are. No, that's a factual. That's a factual statement.
I'll ask you on Thursday. Yeah, I'll ask you on Thursday. Yeah,
we're looking like a team. We're looking like a team.
Will you make sure we're recording this so I can put this out of the pod?
I'm not recording that.
No, you fucking mongo. Somebody be offended by that as well. Just record it.
We're just looking like a team that has a few injuries in the one area, and it's shown.
What? In the midfield and in the forward line and in our lack of ability to score goals and our defence.
Oh, but I think like it
resonates. And our invincible goalkeeper is
I thought you weren't
shy.
going to talk much.
I'm too fucking angry. Yeah, shut up. Don't be pointing your fingers at me.
Look, we're obviously all livid here, but there's no point in going fucking bananas. Well, that nervousness from the injuries at the back and on the right hand side is resonating throughout the whole team. We haven't been playing well in the last 3 games. Probably a bit like we played in October, November, except we're conceding the goal now that's cost us the points. They're just going to have to bounce back on Saturday, beat Bournemouth. And then the game in hand is going to be against United. And a big performance is required. Like, if a team wins the league, they're going to have a wobble throughout the season. They're going to have to bounce back. They're going to have to show they have the credentials to be champions. We weren't going to just walk this league. Just because we were 7 points ahead or we had the opportunity to go 10 points ahead at one stage doesn't mean that the league was ours, and now that we've had a couple of bad results, we're bottling it. This is football. You're going to have bad results. It's up to them. It's up to, we've one of the best managers in the world. It's up to him now to grab the players by the neck and get them fucking going again.
Right, Dicko, since every match became a cup final, I think we've won 1.
Have we?
Yep.
Okay.
So, come on.
Well, no, I mean, since we lost to City, we won 2 games, didn't we? And obviously we've drawn the last 2. Like, we haven't played well in those 4 games post-City. And whereas we were getting away with getting results, you need to get wins, don't you, at the end of the day? And there's 2 consecutive games where we've dropped points. Now the big thing now is obviously Saturday, because we've got a pretty decent team coming to Anfield in the shape of Bournemouth, who are going to probably have a bit of a go at us. They've got nothing to lose. They're in a pretty safe position. So now really they're going to have to sort of shake off this bit of a wobble, and they're going to have to get 3 points, because one thing's for certain, one thing I'm 100% certain of on Wednesday night is Man City are going top, because the Everton fans will be singing along with the City fans as that game goes 2-0, 3-0, whatever it turns out to be, because that's the mentality what you're dealing with there. So it'll be our time to respond. We'll be chasing City down come Saturday, and we've just got to go again. It's as simple as that.
Shane, where do you sit in the fence, Shane? Are you wandering around the halls of the Death Star with me?
No, I'm
feeding in your hate and dismay, wondering how would we bottle this? I didn't think it was actually going to be this simple.
No, look, you kind of fall on the side of the fence of, look, but before the season started and all, you can go down that road, we would have taken this where we are. Of course we would have. And look, we haven't played, like, tonight, for me anyway, looking at the game was a point gained, because we were absolutely fucking deplorable.
Yeah.
We scored a goal that shouldn't have been allowed, and they had chance after chance. Alisson save early in the first half. They had a couple of chances just wide. They seemed to create more than us. Well, they did create more than us. So it's a point gained, and you don't know how they're going to shape up until the shake up of the season. I would be hopeful that, like Andy said, we're having a wobble, and you'd be hopeful that, look, you come to whatever date it is on Wednesday, City will hockey Everton, no doubt about that. They'll roll over. and you'll be looking at fucking 7th or 8th of February, joint top of the league with a game in hand, albeit against United when they play the Carling Cup final, who are in decent form. But look, like, we at City ourselves are to probably a lesser extent, but Spurs are definitely well in it. Like, no one is going to hand you the fucking league. It's not going to be years past where teams are dropping points. The year Leicester won of teams are falling off. Spurs finished third in a 2-horse race that year. Like, there's no one's going to fucking hand you anything. You're going to have to get probably 94, 95 points to win the league. The team that finished second might be a point or two behind you. So, look, it's still all to play for. Like, everyone's disappointed, particularly with the performance. But, look, we are where we are.
The disappointing part is that we had this break and people debate about whether the break is good for us or bad for us. They go away to Dubai and whatnot and get a bit of warm weather training. But like, we're getting all these injuries and we're not even playing like a lot of games really.
What's
Like
bugging me most
the
is
cup and everything.
we're not benefiting from the rotation.
No.
In November, say, when there was a few players rotating in and out of the team, and we said we'll really benefit, from this towards the end of the season. Okay, there's still just over a third of the season left, but I'm surprised how easy we've developed injuries. Like, there was no talk of Wijnaldum or Henderson being out today until the team announcement, so they just seem to come about real quick. Lovren's injury came about real quick.
In
These
reality,
are muscle injuries.
but Andy, in reality, is that the case? Because we know from the last 3 to 4 seasons, Henderson picks up injuries if he plays too many games in a row. Wijnaldum is different because he doesn't tend to pick up the injuries that often.
Robust.
Right?
Yeah,
Lovren is always picking up knocks and misses between 6 to 8 game stretches in every single season. And it always tends to be around Christmas as well. I don't think he's designed for the cold weather. Maybe he doesn't get as cold in Croatia, or they have a longer break or something, right? But this is the common signs that's there. Joe Gomez, absolutely terrible that he doesn't seem to heal properly, right? But this isn't the first time he hasn't healed properly. And I'm not saying, I know Klopp says, well, you don't just go out and buy somebody because we have Gomez coming back and we have Trent coming back. That's great if they're coming back. But if you're not 100% sure that they're coming back, you've got to gamble as well. You've got to like, I remember when we did let Klein go, and I'm not putting this saying that we should have kept Klein, right? Because they made the decision, whatever. But you've always got to question that decision. When you're going for a league title, do you give a shite whether somebody's getting game time or not if it potentially weakens your squad, if you have this type of injury crisis, and you already knew that Gomez was out with a broken leg at this stage, and you're down essentially to one right back?
Well, this is it, because like before the news broke today, like I've been quite sort of, it's been a head scratcher for me, the time and the fact that he was allowed to go at the start of the window rather than at the end of the window. And a lot of people have come out and said, well, he sat down and he was basically told he's not going to get a lot of games. But at the end of the day, how was he told he's not going to get a lot of games if this injury was being monitored for Gomez? That just doesn't make sense.
I thought he looked to go.
I thought he was excellent against Man United, by the way.
Yeah, he was.
Look,
yeah,
he was raised, and he's played. He's basically played every game for Bournemouth since he's gone there. I know they've been.
Look, he's an option. If he was there tonight, you would have the option of Milner in midfield and all.
Exactly, that's the knock-on effect.
It mightn't have changed that, but it obviously has a knock-on effect to the game. And now we're currently playing, and you can tell it's a wobble. Like, even not so much by the results, even not so much by the performance, but the players that are turning in, the fucking shite that turning in. Like, Robertson was a fucking disgrace.
The balls that were given away, like, it's just
players that have been
excellent. I think let's start with the worst performer tonight. Firmino was an absolute liability out there. He single-handedly broke down most of our attacks any time he got on the ball. He more or less lost the ball time after time.
There was a consistent shout in here about, oh, look, he's going to give the ball away now. And he did, right on cue, time and time again. It was so frustrating. And when Origi did come on, he was actually a lot better than what Firmino was giving us.
Mainly because he wasn't giving the ball away.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. I mean, it was as simple as that.
Andy, the midfield, it's like the black hole of Calcutta at the moment. It's literally, it is. It's literally, it's really, really an issue because everyone wants Keita to do well and come good for us. He probably had a 12-minute good spell towards the end of the game where West Ham essentially sat off and he was able to pick the ball up and run at them. Up until that point, he wasn't able to run because he was being bullied off the ball. He was playing nice, neat passes, which is quite safe, right? He had definitely a better second half, but like again, he's not, for whatever reasons, confidence, form, whatever it is. He just seems to be little boy lost in that midfield at this moment in time.
Yeah, he doesn't. He actually looks, physically inferior to the rest of the league. Like, that'd be my biggest concern. Look, I think he's a bit of a write-off for the rest of the season anyway. We just have to hope he turns in better performances than he has been. They're well below par. He wasn't a worse performer tonight by any stretch. But
if physicality is the thing, Andy, you'd be hopeful that that can be obviously addressed.
Yeah.
Because you get your programme or whatever. If it is down to that, you'd be hopeful that it can be addressed.
But the problem is
we're up against a midfield there tonight with Mark Noble. Royce was excellent for them. Yeah. But Fabinho, fucking Keita and Lallana, when he picked up the ball in midfield, there was nothing. There was nothing really. Nobody played well. Like, when you see a game where even Van Dijk looked a bit on the weak side and Robertson wasn't playing well, like, there's something not right with the team at the moment.
The balance isn't there.
No,
when I saw the team,
just think I just think the injuries are showing on them. A lot of that, they're probably feeling their legs as well. If the players are getting knocks, they're probably not 100% themselves.
Right, I saw the team and I thought to myself, do you know what? They're setting up to sit back and play quick and sharp on the counter against West Ham, and that's what he's putting Lallana in there. He's thought, I'm going to sacrifice a bit of control in midfield because I don't have Wijnaldum, don't have Henderson. I'll try sit deep, and we're going to spring the counter as we did last year, as we know we can against a Pellegrini team who's going to be happy to come on and get into a slugfest with us in terms of a football match. And to be fair to West Ham, it wasn't like they put 11 players behind the ball and just hoofed it long as soon as he got on it. They tried to play, and they played bloody well.
Yeah,
they played bloody well.
I mean, Anderson was really good. I mean, when they had the chance to break on us, I mean, he was the danger man, wasn't he? He was kind of head and shoulders really above anyone else. But the thing is about throwing Lallana into that situation, like, he's just not up to it, and like, it's such a big crucial game away from home against a tough side on a Monday night. Like, I'd much prefer Lallana to be getting his minutes and getting reintegrated into the side in easier home games than that. Do you know what I mean? I think maybe some of it come down to the fact that Shaqiri the last few games has been, quite poor, and his impact is really from the bench. And I think he had a predetermined plan there to make that sub between 60 and 70 minutes, and hope that he would get more out of Shaqiri. And to be honest, when Shaqiri come on, he didn't give us an awful lot, did he?
I think Klopp would have felt that defensively he probably would have got a bit more out of Lallana.
Yeah.
Now, as it turned out, he seemed to be lost in midfield. He wasn't tracking back.
I think Lallana's time is done.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. And it's not being cruel to him.
No,
that team has moved on so many in so many directions.
No, it's not being cruel. Look, we can identify areas in the squad that need to be improved. Like, I think Klopp is still ahead of schedule in terms of clearing out the shit and bringing in quality. You know what I mean? Well,
you're talking shite.
Talking shite. So
Steve, if you want to talk, remember you've got the production mic. You can actually turn it up so people can hear you. Otherwise, it's just a distant echo.
Yeah, that's all I want to be.
All right.
Talking shite. Like, so, what are you saying about this team?
I'm saying it was 7 points clear at one point and has now reduced itself to 3 points clear. Klopp's not ahead of where he was predicted to be.
Points wise, this season so far, you would have expected this. You would have expected us to be top of the league right now. At this point,
with what, 65 points or whatever it is,
you
I
expect us
suppose.
to be top of the league this season, way ahead of not way ahead of City, but at times.
You're talking about way ahead of schedule.
Did you turn up your
I
mic?
said he is ahead. I said he's ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
In terms of
what was your schedule?
This,
what was your schedule?
Ahead of schedule in terms of developing this team.
Yeah.
Clearing out the shit players, bringing in some quality. I think he's ahead of schedule.
He's had.
I think when you're up against
7 transfer windows now.
I think when you're up against
he's
one
had
of the
7 transfers. Let's just think about that for a second.
I think when you're up against one of the best Premier League teams we've seen, in City, and the top of the league, he's ahead of schedule.
But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about where he's at with clearing out the shit in the squad. He's
you're telling me what I'm saying.
You just said that.
You're telling me
you
what
can
I'm
watch
saying.
back later on if you want.
You're
you said it
telling me what I'm
live on
saying.
air.
Yeah, you're telling me what I'm saying.
I'm saying
he's ahead of schedule. Yeah, in terms of developing his team.
Developing the squad.
There's one or two players that still need to go. There's players like.
There's way more than one or two players need to go.
No, he's got a kind of a core.
Does Origi need to go?
Absolutely, but
Does
he's not in
Sturridge
the
need
car.
to?
He's not in the car.
Just answer me
No,
this.
he's not.
Does
They're not
Origi
in
need
the
to
car.
go?
They're not in the car 16 or 17
Of course they are. They're fucking playing football.
because there's loads of fucking injuries. Lallana has no business on
This is
the pitch
great. If
tonight.
you're watching
If we
and
had
you wonder
full-
where the ghost voice is coming from, that's Stephen. He's behind the. He's behind the. They see the hand. Whoa!
If we-
An Andy on it.
If we have a fully fit squad, Lallana has no business on that pitch tonight.
No, he'd be on the bench.
Hang on a second. Lallana has only
They're-
been a
they're
bit part
fringe-
player this. No,
they're fringe
Lallana has
players.
only been a bit part player this season because of how much of an injury problem he's had this season. He would be an integral part of Jurgen Klopp's squad and would have played a lot of games this season if he hadn't been out injured for
Absolutely,
so
if
long.
he was fit and playing well.
No, you don't
But he
have to
hasn't
be.
even
You
got
don't
a
have to
chance.
be
He
playing
hasn't
well
even
to
got a
get games
chance
for
to.
Jurgen Klopp. Look at Bobby Firmino for half the season. You know, he doesn't have options. This is the problem.
Lads,
You're saying no. Hang on a
So
second. You've said that
Firmino isn't worthy of his place in the team.
Mignolet, fucking Lovren or Matip. Okay, you have to look at Milner or Henderson in terms of who you can't have that many.
But
fucking
Henderson's
legged
gone.
players.
No,
Of course
Henderson's
he's not.
gone
I don't
nowhere.
think he should go anywhere. Lallana, Origi,
Miller
Sturridge.
is what he is. You have to have experience
Lads,
in the team.
can I just bring it back on Mark because it is
You're telling me I'm talking shite when clearly like he's ahead of schedule.
Andy.
You're up
Well,
against
who's schedule?
You're
Andy's
City spent
schedule.
fucking
Andy.
billions.
But Andy,
can I just
City are
lads,
gonna get better
can
next
I,
season.
can I just jump in and
And so
interject?
will Liverpool, for
can we
fuck's
can we
sake.
interject?
They
Can we
don't
just
have the fucking
Andy,
resources.
Andy.
Oh, fuck off.
Andy, Andy, can I bring you back here to just back to the reality here, right? I want to ask. There's no such thing as being schedules and stuff like that. You have to take your chances when they arise. Think about Brendan Rodgers in 13-14, right? He has a chance to win the league and they bottle
your
it.
fucking chances.
08-09, Rafa has a chance to win the league. It's bottled, right? 01-02, or whatever fucking Julier's chance was, bottled. 96-97.
What the fuck was
Evans
this?
has a chance. Hang on a second.
You're just excited
No,
now.
Phil
no,
is venting.
You're
no.
excited now
Venting.
because
I'm not excited.
This is-
no.
yeah.
You mentioned schedule, and I want to put this here because it's a valid question now with this team.
But you fucking put all of them situations in
Hang on a
isolation
second.
and look at them.
Hang on a second. Let me
Just
finish. You're
because
just jumping
Juliet
in. Let
didn't
me
win the
finish
league.
here, right? My point
You're
is,
talking for ages.
every single time we've had an opportunity to win the league, for whatever reason, we've had a massive brain farts at certain points of the season that stops it being a wobble and turns it into something cataclysmic. Why is this only going to be a wobble when we haven't actually played well since Man United at home?
Well, what are you putting it down to? Like, there's not some
Inevitability.
There's not some course. Inevitability. Fucking validate that. Then. How is it inevitable? Why?
The course.
Can we?
Because
can
I
we
don't
just?
You can look at each and every one of those situations. Like, let's go back to 13 and 14. We just weren't good enough. It was a mad season. We had no right to be there. Suarez was scoring millions of goals. Sturridge stayed
So why are we
fit.
good enough this season?
Sterling was fucking quality.
Why are we good enough this season?
Well,
Because
can we just?
we've lots of quality now.
Can we just?
don't, though.
Can we just put this
what
into a
do you
bit
mean
of?
we don't?
Hang
We
on,
don't. You
hang
can
on.
look at the bench. Look at the bench with 4 injuries.
We don't have loads of quality. So this is
With 4 injuries.
All right, then what's the best Liverpool team you've looked at in recent history since we won the league?
We've had good 11s that we challenged for league titles with. We've never had a good squad, and I would argue that this squad isn't anywhere near as good as people make out it to be. And because it's come push to shove now, where we're stretched and we do have a few injuries, it's been proven.
Must be a reason why they've accumulated their most points since they've been in a Premier League time.
That's great. Well, accumulating the most points you've had in the Premier League matters at the end of the season, not in January.
Yeah, and it is only January.
Exactly.
There's no reason. There's no
Exactly.
reason.
It's February.
It's February.
It's getting away from us. There's no reason. Like
But you're backing.
discussions after dropping fucking 4
You're
points.
backing your belief that we can win the league based on the fact that we have the best quality squad that we've had forever. With the most points we've had, right? You just argued a second ago that we still have shite in the squad and we haven't cleared it out. And then we've got an issue where we're talking about Lallana, we're talking about not being good enough. We've got an issue at right back, and we've got centre backs. We've got 2 centre backs who are scared of their shadows or can't get out of bed because they're that injured.
With a fully fit squad.
With a fully fit anything, Andy, of course we can win stuff.
So hold on.
The injuries have fallen in unfortunate areas. I mean, who could have predicted a player's going to break his fucking foot?
Who could have predicted a guy who can only put together 14 games in the season gets injured again? Who could have predicted it? Imagine an injury-prone player gets injured. It's like it could never happen in any other season.
But surely it's obvious that a couple of things. Surely it's obvious that this wobble is directly linked to the fact that we haven't got the full squad, the first 11 or the first even 14 players that we would expect to be able to select for one. The second thing I think we've got to remember the context of this title race. Yeah, the pace is at the most frenetic level that we've seen, and from my point of view, yeah, it's one thing to say we were 7 points clear, blah blah blah. City had their wobble, but at the end of the day, it's no, like, we're not in a. There's no disgrace to still be in this position. It's how we react from here. Like, there's no point in going overboard about where things are now. We haven't thrown the league away at this stage. There's still the opportunity to win the league. Like, we're kind of, and I can understand why a certain portion of the fan base would get themselves into this mentality that we are. It is inevitable that we throw it away, but it's not inevitable that we throw it away. It's likely that we won't win it because of who we're up against and the amount of points that City are likely to end up with. But look, we just got to, like, there's no point in going overboard about the situation. There really isn't.
And that group of players, though, that group of players that went out tonight, like, we didn't get the win, but they were fucking good enough to get the win. Like, if you go through the team, like Milner, shy. All right, he was okay. Matip, shy. Van Dijk, okay. Robertson, atrocious. Kate, a terrible first half, better in the second half. Fucking he was the long cunt. Fabinho was all right.
I think you were calling him a streaky.
He's streaky cunt, right?
Yeah.
And
he wasn't Fabi Longlegs tonight, was he? Like Chris likes to call him.
And the front three were all right. So the players who have been the best players for us all season, at this very moment in time for the last few games, are not performing.
No,
and
that happens that happens in a season.
38 games,
football,
38 game season.
In football, that happens. It only takes a couple of injuries in key areas. People start getting nervous. They're off the pace. They stop playing well themselves. It's fucking football.
Yeah, Firmino's played about 5 good games this season. So that's not someone just being a little bit off the boil. That's someone who's
Fabinho's role in the team has been.
But how many games has he been in the team?
Has changed a lot this year to get the best out of.
I mean, he's played right back.
It's not working. So, like, why are people not talking about that?
Talking about it.
But Salah's got a poorer return. I could be wrong on this. Has he not got a poorer return now than he had at this point in the season last year?
It's not far off.
But what I'm saying is, if the idea was to get the best out of Salah this season, it hasn't worked because it's.
I don't think you can replicate. Andy, I don't think you can necessarily replicate a 43 goal scoring season. Right? It's very few players can replicate a 43 goal scoring season, and I think you do need to have tactical flexibility, which we didn't necessarily have last year, which is fine.
Us this year.
I think the key we were set up to score more goals last year. Like, it was clear last year
we had to outscore what we were going to concede. But my worry, I'll go back to it. I think we've overestimated the squad's capability. I think the first 11 is very strong. I think the first 13 are probably very strong. I think the real issue is probably once you go past those 13, the quality isn't anywhere near as strong as it needs to be.
Okay, well let's break it down. Right, so who's? I know you're hosting here, but who's your first 11? Now, it's probably argued. There's probably a 13 that
Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk,
Gomez,
Lovren. No,
right. Okay, so there's one player who's quality outside of the 11, because it is a tough decision between Lovren and Gomez in your opinion. I go Gomez.
Okay.
Left back is
Robertson.
Yeah. Right.
Midfield, I'd have Fabinho, Wijnaldum, and
so there's one outside and the.
It's either going to be Wijnaldum or Henderson. I don't play Wijnaldum and Henderson in the same team.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Keita hasn't got. Keita
isn't and is one of the players outside the 13 or 14.
We spent 50 million on
and he hasn't been good enough. I'm just talking about in terms of performances this season. You're asking about the first 11, and so then it's what do we do up front? That's fantastic interruption there. Thanks, Stephen. Fucking ham. You fucking ham, you. You absolute ham.
I'd like to know how I did that when
you fell backwards.
Remote control was over there.
You fell off the stool.
Remote control was over there.
Anyway, back to it. I think, Andy, you're looking at then.
Anyway.
I think there's a gap somewhere in the 11. So if you're going to start, who are you going to put? Probably Milner. To be honest with you, if it comes down to what I'm going to do in the three in midfield, I'm going to put Milner in there because of his experience. Right, then up front, it's Salah, Firmino and Mane. After that, you've got Shaqiri, who's a good sub, right? You've got Gomez, who we've talked about, right? That's 12. Then where's the rest?
Henderson.
Henderson, 13. And then after that, the drop off is big.
No, that's 14. 12, 13, 14.
No, you were, there was more because
Keita was supposed to be part of that
But he's not.
equation. He was supposed to be
But
part
he's
of
not.
that equation. Yeah.
we're still missing Ox as well.
But he's out injured for the season.
Supposed to be part of the equation, yeah.
But we're talking about what we have.
I know what's available to us.
I think it's up as far as 16 or so, 17.
But it's not, because I'm talking about, Andy, what's on the pitch. It's not what's on paper, it's what's on the pitch.
When you're talking about Matip and Lovren coming in, now, I favour Gomez over the two of them, like by a good distance. But they should be two good players.
Ability-wise, I agree with you. But we know that.
I mean, you lose Gomez for a long period of time, and you've got this
which is likely
between the two of them.
It was not even that,
They're
Andy.
two
It's the problem.
two decent backup
They are two decent backup centre halves, and like I've been very critical of Lovren over the years. But the problem with them now is you can't get them on the fucking pitch.
So in and out. Yeah,
because the two of them are in and out. Lovren's injured again. Matip is only fucking back, and then so they're not even reliable enough to be our backup because they're fucking always injured.
Yeah.
I mean, that brings a problem in itself, because it's like you had a conversation with Ray on WhatsApp or whatever the other day. If you keep bringing players in, like, you just end up stockpiling fucking lads. There's no room for fellas there's not enough games for fellas, and you just end up stockpiling players for the sake of a couple of games.
Block of 3 games or 4 games.
For 3 or 4 games. So it's a fucking vicious circle.
But how do you gotta? Okay, so the players have to look at we got to look at the positive side of this as well, right? We are still 3 points clear.
Yeah.
Right. If City beat Everton, they go above us on goal difference, right? But they have to go and do the job on Wednesday night,
which they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which they will, because Everton aren't even putting a team out. They said they're just going to give them the points, right?
Look, you can't depend on other teams.
Playing the Black Cat.
You can't depend on other teams if you're going to win a league. Like, we weren't dependent on Newcastle to beat City. You know, they did, but that was a bonus. Like, so any points City drop from now on to the end of the season is a bonus. We have to just keep winning our games. You know what I mean? And they have a tough game at the weekend against Chelsea.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it. In the last 2 games, the City have closed the gap on us by 1 point. Yeah? During our wobble, and there's 2 less games to play. So the title race is still wide open.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting here. I'm saying we're going to win the league, because I've been reluctant to say that. I've been reluctant to say that for obvious reasons, because
why have you broken the still, Stephen?
It's nearly 30 years, but anyway, it's the thing is, like, we've just got to relax, you psychos.
Like, yeah, I mean, the only time I felt Liverpool had maybe edged into favourites to win the league was after City got beaten against Newcastle, and you expected Liverpool to beat Leicester at home. That's the only time I felt we were favourites. But we're fucking not out of it. We're far from out of it.
I didn't say we're out.
I mean,
the bookies overreacted massively. They made us 1-3 favourites and City 9-4. Like, that was ridiculous.
Sucked us in big time.
That was that was ridiculous reaction.
When you went in lumped on City, right?
That was grizz.
All right, then.
Reds Bet wouldn't do that.
No, Reds Bet wouldn't have done that. No.
What is I honestly, I wish I could turn the camera around to show people what the hell is going on over there. Anyway, little drummer boy over there has managed to bend the stool somehow.
Well, that's because he's not been on that post-Christmas diet. It failed on the 2nd of January.
I think you'll need to bend that stool, Stephen, to get it back into the hole. I think it will. I think, like, the fact that it looks like something out of an observatory at the moment is...
Phil, it's all about how they respond now. You know, it's the last couple of games. Well, last 3 games against Palace, they were far from at the races either. We're lucky to win that game as well.
Yeah.
Probably, as Davo says, it was a point gain tonight. For me, it was a point gained against Leicester as well. You know.
Well, that's because you're a big happy spot.
But they both could have beaten us, couldn't they? Like, at the end of the day,
I'm not fucking deluded enough to think that they deserved to win tonight.
Yeah.
Or they deserved to beat Leicester.
Yeah. You had a big round, Stephen, over.
Shut your face! I said look at the sword.
Just saying what you said.
Lads,
so it's all about the weekend now.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to just fucking go out there and get 3
points. Look, how do we score goals again? How do we score goals again? Because, like, not only that, Salah looked...
Start taking shots.
But Salah looked really unclinical or non-clinical.
Yeah,
Salah?
He was...
Yeah, it was straight down the keeper's throat, wasn't it? A couple of times.
He was like Maradona 1980s, just one, like, it really tonight, it was like a one-man team. They were giving him the ball, hoping he could do fucking something. It was just, you know, kind of messy stuff. Give him the ball, hope he can do something. A couple of times he conjured up half chances for himself. A few of them he just didn't start them out wide enough of the post. Fabianski comfortable saves, but...
Well, look, do you know this attacking thing that's crept into the game since I think probably the Palace match, where we're trying to cross balls into like one of the smallest forward lines in England.
Yeah, that's not us.
Yeah, but don't forget,
Concerns me.
we were like this in October, November as well. You know, except we were getting
1-0s.
1-0s, yeah. Yeah, we were getting 2-0s, yeah.
So the
That
goal,
solidity's
the goal
gone
we
now.
conceded
Would you
against-
drop Alisson?
the goal?
His save percentage must be atrocious.
But that
the
header
last
at the
3
end, there,
games.
just the header at the end, it breaks me heart.
The
Go on.
goal against Leicester wasn't very characteristic. Like us, you know, we haven't been.
And set piece tonight.
And every set piece they got
Looked dangerous.
looked fucking dangerous. And we just don't. We get a lot of set piece ourselves, just don't look dangerous.
Never.
I
No.
mean, that's where goals come from in games. Mistakes, set pieces.
And
Well,
we've got-
mistakes definitely.
Yeah,
Set pieces, I think statistically only 12% of goals come from.
I think it's more than that. You find.
It's not. You'll find out if you
It's fucking well
extrapolate
more
out
than
the
Against
cross,
us it is. Anyway.
the
fucking loads
XSP.
of goals. Fucking
You'll
60
find
or
a
70%.
big S and a small P.
But like the goal against Palace, that was a set piece, was it? You know, Leicester.
But it's those things that are starting to
Yeah.
creep back in, but just at the wrong time.
But they were the things that
We thought
you
we'd
know
sort
people
it.
thought Van Dijk would sort out.
But there's enough time to like this isn't like it's not happening fucking in April. There's enough time to get your arse in gear, get fucking sorted, and get back on the horse.
There's a long way to go. Like
Because look at
this title race could go a couple of ways.
We're a good team. Like
You
you're
know?
not a bad
Could
team
not-
after 2 draws. Fair enough, it's a bit of a wobble. Couple of lads missing, so you need the lads that are there to fucking put the shoulder to the wheel. Like we're not a bad team overnight just because of 2 draws, but fuck me, like it's starting to get fairly fucking like imperative we start winning.
And then we've got the extra, you know, the burden of Champions League coming back and having to play Bayern and all that.
Yeah.
All that goes
Yeah.
with that.
Fuck it,
That
just-
takes the kind of focus off things a little bit, doesn't
Well, at
it?
least
Do you know
Van
what I
Dijk
mean?
gets a rest for the first game.
He does for the
Yeah.
first game. Yeah, that'll be interesting actually. Watching us play without Van Dijk in a
Without
big
centre
game
halves.
like that.
Without
Well,
centre
yeah,
halves.
it's gonna be. It's gonna be.
playing that 15-year-old kid centre half again.
Yana Hoover.
What gives me belief we're still in this is City aren't as prolific as they were last year. They're liable to
I
drop
think they
points
look
around the
strong.
place.
Personally, I
I don't-
think I
well,
don't.
they-
I
see, you're
don't.
an
Teams can
enigma.
get at them. Teams can get at them. I think Quick and Walker shy. They're poor down. I know Mendy's probably back now, but Danilo playing left back.
They're probably going
Teams
to get
can
to
get
an
at
FA Cup semi-final, and so I don't know if he's watched it. Carragher spoke about it yesterday after the game. He just said they're probably looking at 2-3 midweeks between now and the end of the season. If
Man
you go-
City.
he says, say they get to the semi-final of the FA Cup, semi-final of the Champions League. He says, which you would strongly expect.
Yeah.
He just goes, you're probably talking 2-3 midweeks maybe between now and the end of the season. So that's the kind of hope.
If I thought
That-
City weren't going to drop points for the rest of the season, I think we're over because we're going to drop points. It's an teams fucking drop points.
That's why I'm
Even
worried.
in top
I'm worried
challenge.
because I think I just don't see them dropping.
And
that
still,
many
the
points.
only defeat so far has been against
City.
City.
I know.
But draws kill you. It was the same.
Draws are
away
killing
from
us
home.
now,
Draws
yeah.
kill you.
Yeah.
And the only
It's
reason why
it's
Spurs
still-
are in
it
it,
is.
the only reason why Spurs are in
don't
it is
draw.
they haven't drawn a single game.
Lost 6 games, won
Yeah.
19, and they're only
That's
now
only
4
because-
points.
They've won the
That's
same
only
amount of
because
games as us.
5, yeah.
They've
Because
won
everyone
the same
copped out to
amount.
them getting 2 points for draws last year. They're taking the heat off themselves.
Well, like, at the same time, and this is the thing about Spurs being in it, right? And people dismiss it and the whole lot, and they've had we've looked
wouldn't
at.
have thought.
I
They're fucking
go,
well in it.
how are they still in this? I'm baffled because they're losing games, but then you look at it and say, hang on a second, if we were only 5 points off the top at this moment in time,
We think we're in it.
we would say, hang on, we can do this.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
need to get in a run now to
Yeah.
the end of the season.
And
There's
we've been
13
in that
games left,
position,
and if we
yeah.
can do a 12 or an 11 game
talisman
run,
is coming back probably
Yeah.
2 or 3
Two-
weeks'
two-
time.
the two- main men are
unless
coming back,
somebody
Dele Alli and
unless somebody
Nike.
in immigration in Boston could stop him getting back on the plane. Did you see the hack of him last night at the
No,
Super Bowl?
has he
Oh
got-
did he
my
go, did he?
God.
Yeah, he's in a tracksuit.
Shocking stuff. Shocking stuff. Gary Kane in a Pats jersey with Robert Kraft. Terrible.
He's still
Terrible stuff.
alive.
Yeah. But like, I just think, and I think it's worth of a conversation. If we were 5 points behind, we'd be saying we're definitely in a tight race here.
Yeah, especially if you've got to play each other as well, because there's a potential swing
Like
of points
sports,
there.
there's all of a sudden they could be within a win of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Conceivable.
Assuming City do drop points and Spurs were somehow managed to get a result in Anfield, which they've done over the last few seasons as well. It isn't
I
that.
think once.
Yeah, but they've looked good. They look like
We
they
could
have looked good.
do with signing that fella. They have fucking last minute winner. The fucking cunt keeps fucking scoring. Fuck me. Many have they got 4?
How many last minute
4.
winners did we have to give over or to win that one against in the derby? What did we have to
Well,
give up to
once
get
a
that one?
night. I mean, he could have like properly cemented his cult hero status
That
if he'd
flag
have.
was going up.
If he scored?
I think it was going up
Yeah.
myself. I think the linesman would have bottled it and he'd have put the flag up.
Klopp looked like he
Even
wanted
though
to
it
kill
was
the
offside.
referees at the end. To be
Yeah, I
fair,
don't know what that was about. Like that concerns me more.
I hope that quote tonight I heard
concerns
about
me-
bubbles isn't true.
What?
He said that the bubble machine shouldn't be allowed on the pitch. I'm hoping it to make you up
Well,
quote.
them fuckers
Yeah.
only fixed the divots in their own half of the second half
I
at
noticed
half
that.
time.
I noticed that they were only out fixing
Fucking
their
rats
own
out.
divots. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's from the flats.
Not that we do anything like that with pitches at half time, do we? Like,
Snow shovels.
We've only got one set of snow shovels. You can't be in two going outs at the one
I
time.
blame that fucker that brought it to everyone's attention.
Yeah, snitch.
Like he was a Liverpool journalist, wasn't he?
Was he?
Well, he shouldn't be invited back because I kept it to myself. And I
You were not invited back.
It was obvious.
said fucking nothing.
It was obvious.
Yeah, no, but like they actually.
It
did
wasn't. It wasn't because the camera doesn't face
It was
that way.
like they could have just denied it.
Oh, that half of the pitch thawed out really quickly.
Yeah, the heat is broke.
Put loads of salt on it. What was
We've
I saying?
been hearing about under soil heating for I don't know how long now.
So half the
How
pitch
is it
is
still so shit?
artificial.
It was
Half the pitch
did
is
it come out in the
artificial
80s or
In
something?
the
Yeah,
under
but
there.
Yeah, it's knitted in. That they have the
Hot
fake
water
grass.
pipes, is
I
it?
think it's 20% of the grass that you see on the pitch is artificial grass, and the rest is natural grass. So it's to prevent all that ripping up and sad thing that goes on.
It's an absolutely terrible system.
Yeah.
And they've dug the pitch up loads of times. Just lay more pipes, you know what I mean? Like
More sand.
You think when they were building that stand, they would have like put loads of pipes down.
More
More
get on
sand.
your kitchen floor.
Yeah.
You know, door cheap.
Yeah.
Sort it out.
Maybe they need to get the plumber in
Because
to
that
sort
really
out where.
did hamper us. Anyway, getting back to Klopp, I didn't like to see that tonight. I don't know what he's giving out about. The refs are shit every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's getting
And they're shit
worse
for everyone.
every week, to be
They're
fair.
shit for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we
Well,
got an
honestly,
offside goal. We got an
yeah.
offside goal, for fuck's sake. They're
Well-
making a complete hash of games every single week.
What bothers me
officials.
most is the control referees want over the game.
And the narrative as opposed to just
And I don't
reffing
mean
the match.
controlling the
Yeah.
rules of the game, controlling the outcomes of games.
Mm.
They seem to respond differently to how the game is flowing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If you're attacking, they just keep giving frees against you.
Well, I have this thing I told you before about the narrative. So the referees are reading newspapers and they're looking what journals are saying and all that type of stuff.
And the part they can play
And the
in
part
the
that-
game.
Yeah, and they're saying,
Yeah.
well, we need to level this up. Your man's been diving for a few weeks, so we're not going to give them any dodgy decisions.
Yeah, it's human nature. But
Yeah.
this idea that they want to be part of the show.
Yeah.
They're there to referee. They're there to do a job. You know, impose the rules. It's a fucking joke. But Klopp doing, I don't know what the issue was, but that.
Well, that's
worries
going to
me.
get jumped on as well, isn't
That
it?
worries
Because
me.
it'll be all blown
As
up about
much
us
or more
losing
than the performance.
our cool, you know.
Yeah.
The
'Cause you
manager
can-
losing
you
his
can
cool.
talk- You can talk
Even-
performances around, but not if the manager's losing
Since,
the
since,
rap.
I have to say, since the reffing of the Arsenal match, the reffing of the Arsenal match to me is the last decent refereeing performance we've had. Since then, we had a bad performance. Anthony Taylor
No,
did
Crystal Palace we had a good
Did we?
performance, didn't we? I thought we were getting loads of stuff in that game.
I thought it was just a bad performance. I thought we got too much stuff.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I know
Oh,
what
you
you're saying.
mean like real?
Just
I'm
as
just
in
talking
a
about
real
proper
ref,
refereeing
proper.
performance. I thought the
Yeah.
Arsenal game,
Oh, the
he
Arsenal
reffed.
game,
He didn't
yeah,
ref
but-
context.
yeah.
He just reffed the game as it was played. You had Taylor reffing the Manchester derby, which should never happen.
No.
You had the fucking mess of John Moss in the Leicester game. You have Kevin Friend there tonight, just was again reffing context and not reffing a match. To me, it's. And
Wasn't it
that-
Martin Atkinson? Wasn't he in one
Yeah,
of
he
our
did
Atkinson
Leicester.
was in the Leicester match. Sorry,
Yeah,
John Moss
John Moss
was
was
in
the Brighton game,
Brighton
wasn't
game,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And then Atkinson then against City, not missing a blatant handball. I mean, it's just, it's crazy stuff. It's
Shane had a
crazy
good
stuff.
word for him tonight.
Kevin Friend.
Ah, no. Fuck that. Fucking prick.
Wasn't that?
Man, but even if you
Wasn't
are
that
like
key,
fucking
was it?
pissed off like he fucking is, Like Andy's right. Even if you want to fucking pull his fucking head off the referee, you need to be calmer, not to be giving any fucking anything to the press and anything like that, because you can now fucking sure it's going to be plastered all over social media.
Yeah.
Klopp losing the plot. He's going to be asked about it in his post-match stuff in the press conference and the interview after the game. So
people are going to be looking for the Kevin Keegan moments or the Rafa moments. Do you know these moments that and obviously we haven't seen the interview tonight, but like we want to steer well clear of any of that sort of.
Kevin Friend didn't fucking
mess.
make a fucking shit out of our midfield.
Yeah, like Mark bleeding Noble, like.
Yeah.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
He was a disgrace at Anfield. Him and
I know.
the other fella.
He couldn't even jog in Anfield. He was that out of shape.
Yeah,
And now he's running Boston in midfield.
I know.
Like, it's embarrassing for our midfielders.
Yeah.
They should look at themselves and say, what's gone on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's an embarrassment. But look, I want to flip and sort of wrap them with some positivity. So, lads, we want to give some tips to Everton on how they can beat City on Wednesday, right? So, we want to send out the reason I want the Blues to listen to, because look, there's no point in Liverpool throwing a league away and you just giving points to Manchester City. You should be beating them and allowing us to throw it away, and then you can really celebrate the fact that we threw the league away. So you really need to focus on beating City this week, and then you can revel when we don't win the league, right? Because you can say, well, we didn't fucking throw the towel in here at all.
Yeah, I mean, your man Silva, like if he won that game, like they'd be calling for his head.
Yeah,
like
mainly because
the bizarreness of it, like, you know,
That's
be like the final nail in his coffin if he actually won that game on Wednesday.
They deserve that to happen to them because, you know, poor Koeman only tried to put up a Christmas tree. And he's getting death threats. So he's on the way out. He might as well go out in a high. You know, and become go down
another cop hero.
Yeah.
And get Big Sam back in.
They could sign Messi in the morning.
Get Moyes back.
Everton are still getting beat fucking 5-2 or something.
But they really do need the points, because they don't want to get pulled into a relegation dogfight.
They're
Do they?
mid-table.
No,
They're
do you know
so
what?
safe. There's
They've
so
nothing to play
much.
for. The
There's
season's
nothing.
over.
The season. They've had the end of season party already.
Right. They could get pulled into a relegation. They need to focus on getting the next 3 points, and that would probably
There's
get them
3
safety.
teams on no points. For fuck's sake. There's nobody getting dragged in. Relegation.
I'll be honest with you, I looked at the bottom of the table. I haven't looked at the bottom of the table in ages, right? And I was just there going, this is probably the first year ever we're not going to have a relegation dogfight. The 3 at the bottom are just so bad.
No, there's 2 at the bottom.
Huddersfield, Cardiff.
Huddersfield have 6
You're going to have to move the microphone. We aren't in the
17.
Huddersfield have 17.
8 more than thought they
Fulham
had.
have 11. And then Cardiff have 22, but there's about 4 teams above them on 24.
Okay.
So Cardiff are...
So that was a big win Cardiff had.
It's that last position is where there's something to be prayed for.
Possibly.
I don't know.
It's bad, isn't it?
It's like that bottom half of the table, because they all play each other, they're just all so bad.
I mean,
but the 3 at the bottom are just
there's
awful.
5 points between Brighton in 13th and Cardiff in 18th.
Yeah. 32, 33 points going to keep you up, probably.
Brighton will go down.
Right, lads, Bournemouth at the weekend.
Yeah.
After Everton do us a favour, will the elation be like if imagine Everton did get something out of the game on Wednesday, right? Is that a massive fill up to the team, or is it just
We draw with Bournemouth.
free hit?
We took our free hit tonight.
We've taken 2 free hits now at this stage.
Wacko free hits this week.
I don't like, you know, normally you say there's a big performance coming. It's very hard to feel a big performance coming at the moment.
It is.
Like, you have to see evidence of a force. Like, you know, they haven't played well in the last few games.
I think we win just because we fucking have to.
Wobbles though end normally with a gritty 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that.
No, Bournemouth will come and
They'll
have
try
a
and
go,
play,
and hopefully that means that we can exploit them. You know, that they come over maybe a little bit too confident, sort of thing. And
Well, after
still
beating
have
Everton,
Wilson, they still have
Chelsea
Wilson
15-0 or something it was.
yeah, but then they lost again. Didn't they lose straight away after beating Chelsea 4-0?
Yeah.
That's the type of team that you're dealing with here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Who beat them the weekend?
someone Poxy. Was Cardiff?
Cardiff,
Yeah.
Cardiff, yeah.
3-0.
So, like, it just goes to show that these types of teams, they're proper mid-table stuff that you've just got to take care of. But because of where we are, it's going to be interesting what the atmosphere is like. I mean, and you went over to Leicester, and a lot of people who've gone have commented that the atmosphere was flat, but a lot of it was down to how fucking cold it was. Like, to me,
what's the forecast like for Saturday?
I think it's mild, but
all right, Martin King.
But to me, I think a lot of nervousness. I think a lot of nervousness has got to the crowd already. Like, I am a bit worried. I'm a bit worried that it's like almost a kind of like we're just thinking this is inevitability that we're gonna. That we are going to kind of crumble, and the crowd is so edgy. So I'm hoping that the crowd will be a lot more positive. And look, if we get an early goal and we get a couple of goals up, then everything will be hunky dory again. I'm sure if we get a decent win at the weekend.
Going with the reaction to the Newcastle result beating City, I thought the place would be on wheels.
Yeah,
but it was just
that was really surprising.
Like, I heard a warning about not to take a deep breath in with that weather. There was a warning on a weather page that be careful not to take a deep breath in.
They tell you not to piss in hedges in case your Mickey fell off as well.
Seriously, if you take a deep breath in with that level of humidity and cold, you can just instantly die. So I think the crowd were aware of that.
Do you reckon there was a polar vortex in Anfield?
I think the crowd were aware of that.
Yeah, that's why they were careful not to gasp or anything.
They had to set the lines of the pitch on fire to keep it.
The players didn't want to kill any of the fans.
35,000 dead in Anfield.
After controversial
There's a few times someone had to go.
No deep breaths. No deep breaths.
It's just as well I didn't invite that 104-year-old fella that was at the game.
You needed more than one blanket.
They would have had to get Michael Jackson's Michael Jackson's oxygen bubble to wrap him around in his own eco chamber.
The pitch in the Pope mobile.
I went to
Gags, give us a lend our cubicle.
Blow horses.
Fuck Never go to the game and
Eco capsules. Bring it out, climate. Oh, right, lads.
I went down to the toilet at half time, and, packed as usual, trying to get in for a piss. Yeah, there was nobody talking. Not even people. Not really. Normally, there's a few moaners.
Yeah,
everybody was just silent. They were just fucking delighted to be in out of the cold, and maybe they were just trying to find their cocks. I don't know.
And they couldn't draw breath.
Fucking in-ground
But
Mickey.
it was just silent, so they're gonna have to. Fans are gonna have to play their part as well, and
get
lift
it.
Might get a shout
an early
off
goal,
Klopp.
for fuck's sake. An early goal you can't get.
I know.
Right, for the team then, we're hoping obviously Genie is back.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah.
Would you? I wouldn't bother playing Kate again. Would you play him?
Not if Genie was fit. No.
Over Lallana, yes. Lallana was abysmal.
No, I get it, but I don't think there's any excuse to play
Lallana.
Lallana.
Four centre midfielders.
I think I'll play
Shaqiri. Milner, Henderson, Gini, Fabinho, all have to play ahead of him.
Milner's our right back at the minute.
Yeah,
but
I think I'll
come
play
into the microphone.
Unless Trent
I think I'll play
recovery.
Shaqiri, Wijnaldum, and Fabinho.
Or if Wijnaldum's not injured, I'll play Henderson, Fabinho and Shaqiri. I think you need to go for the jugular here. I think you need to literally just say, right, put me two best midfielders in there that are fit. Play a fella who can potentially break it down defences. And there has to be a question asked around Firmino. If this is going on, do you put Salah right, Mane left, and potentially just Sturridge and play Firmino off the bench?
No. Based on
that's happened before, though. He's had the reaction.
Yeah, that has happened before.
Yeah. Based on everything you've said, you wouldn't play Henderson this week, would you? He's going to have to play on the turn against Bournemouth, who are going to press
potentially, but it depends on whether Wijnaldum's fit or not.
Yeah, if Wijnaldum's fit,
I'd play Wijnaldum.
Fabinho and Wijnaldum, and then work out a third person.
If he's not fit and Henderson's fit, Henderson plays in the midfield.
Shaqiri's been poor the last few weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
He's been poor, I'd say, for 7 or 8 games
since Christmas time.
Yeah.
Since Christmas time, since he came on and scored the 2 goals.
When he played,
And I don't know if he's had many good games since
He
that.
was
He
getting
hasn't.
all the
After the
plaudits,
goals
wasn't he?
against United.
In at that stage of the season, everyone was like lauding up, such a bargain buy. Blah, blah. I mean, Joe was basically saying he was a disgrace last week and he wasn't good enough for the club. So it's like,
But Joe's mental.
but that's how
What do
quick
you
his
mean?
form has kind of flipped. That you've now got people.
just not good enough for this club. Sets me something terrible to see.
So Andy,
He's just upset because fucking Shaqiri's legs are bigger than his.
Shakira's legs are bigger than his.
skips legs day every day. Andy,
Focus on the chest.
prediction: Everton, Man City. What is it?
That 73-0. The very amount of goals you could possibly score in a match 10-0.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're just saying that Everton aren't even going to turn up.
5-1.
5-1.
The City, yeah.
5-1 exactly. It was in my mind. I'd say by half time, City will be 3 up. I would say half the stadium will be gone by the 60th minute.
Would they even turn up?
Oh, they love going home at half time, 60 minutes. It's a big perk of going to Goodison.
Get to go early. Get on the road.
No, that's 5-1. Yeah, 5-1.
But that should look at. We should be worrying about that anyway. It's fucking all on Saturday for us.
Not even watching it.
Who are Spurs playing the weekend?
They are at home to
Huddersfield again.
No.
5th time they played in this season.
Huddersfield.
Sorry, what are you asking?
Who's playing Huddersfield?
Spurs are playing Huddersfield again.
No.
Yeah, they get to play them 5
Spurs have
times.
Leicester at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I mean, they
haven't been good.
They're
They
riding
haven't
the
been
luck.
good, yeah,
They're
they
riding the
haven't
luck.
been good.
I mean,
But
unless
Spurs
Dubravka went
Spurs
full
play
league.
Leicester on Sunday before City play Chelsea.
Yeah.
Right? So both teams, if we don't do our business, both teams could have an incentive on Sunday to win games.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that'll be Spurs' first draw of the season.
I'm going to say that Spurs and City drop points that day. And
Chelsea, okay, yeah.
But you also
Yeah,
said
you
we
need
win
to stop
3-1
saying that
tonight, Steve.
because you thought Arsenal were going to take points off City.
Oh, that was never happening, was it?
I say a lot of shit.
Just don't say
Constantly.
anything this week.
I'm just going to be positive.
Yeah.
I'm the only positive person in this fucking place. Bunch of miserable pricks.
Right,
Chelsea,
Sort your lives out.
You know, I think
wins all round. Wins all round. The wobble is over.
Chelsea-
Wins all round.
Higuain
Live.
is scoring goals. He's going to love it. He's going
England's
to.
going to smash City
Yeah.
at the weekend.
Yeah, he's going.
He's going to do their granny.
I think he'd score. He'd score a goal.
He scored a
He's gonna do
goal.
their granny twice.
He'll score a
He'll
goal.
He'll
get a
goal.
goal.
Get a goal. Get a goal and a half. A goal and a half. Right, with that was the club in association with Redsbet. That was Andy, that was Ray, that was Shane. The occasional voice you heard from the distance was Stephen. If you haven't, get on, buy the Sean Cox interviews, $5 with all the money going to the Sean Cox Fund as well. We just want to see, we've got the next 5 interviews coming along soon, but there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be there throwing the $5 in to get the interviews. You're getting something and you're donating for a good cause, so I want to hear no excuses, and I will come around your house if you don't do it. So that's the club.
I've had a look at who's been down, and
Have you?
I'm going to start naming people.
Naming
who
people,
haven't.
you're going to call them out.
It's
Name
the
and
first
shame.
time. It's the first time.
You're going to
anyone's
name
ever
and
gonna have
shame.
done that.
All right, Grant.
Charity name and shame.
Charity name and shame.
I like it. It's a new low for the LFC.
Right.
You know, you only drop a couple of coppers into the charity.
What's the
He's
rule?
only at the
He only went in there for change. He only went in there for change on the bus.
So the cop table's back on Thursday. There'll be a final whistle on Saturday. I don't know when Gav and the Fatback 4-3 will be on. They'll just pick a day and they'll turn up, and then we're back next Monday to do what we normally do, which is to have a better dissection and a more rational debate on the football. So with that, I say good night, God bless, and Stephen, knock us off there.
No, better.